I'm good, man. Yeah.
What's going on, YouTube? This is your host for tonight's roundtable, Mr. Micro Mike. And folks, we have a good one for you this evening. And without further ado, I'm just ready to get into these intros. First is the man who once wrote a biography of his life. Today, it's referred to as the encyclopedia. What up, though, Luke G?
What up, though, Mike? Love, I love that one.
Hey, man, that's the way it is. Next is the man who can eat a hole out of a bagel. What up, though, no, Miss J?
What?
What is up?
And
Ladies.
what is up to everybody out there? I'll do roll call, man. What up, though, Kyle Webb? What up, though, Mr. I, Chris Cashbaugh, Eric Gross, Bruce Betterly, Boog Spray, The General View, and Chris himself. We're just going to go ahead and get straight into this because I see more people just jumped in here. Keurig, Detroit Legend Sportscast. What up, though? James Willis. And I'm ready to talk some NFL draft. And I'm in that mode. So, Luke, what position is the biggest need for the Lions in the first round of this draft?
I know everybody. Everybody knows Luke likes to think outside the box, but he's viewing it from a perspective based on our biggest need and how to truly improve this team. Now, many of you may be thinking that it's pass rusher, but I honestly believe that we need to try to find a dominating safety. Because Tracy Walker is good, but if you can find another ball hawking safety, that changes the game. A guy like, if we were able to trade and get Jamal Adams, I think that changed the way we play defense. If you don't believe me, go and look at what happened when we got Glover Quinn. His performances made everybody else around him better because you had to account for him because you knew he was a ball hawk. So for me, it's got to be the safety.
Okay. No, Miss J, what about you, man? What position are you wanting the Lions to hit with that first round pick?
Well, I actually didn't think about it until Luke said it. That's actually a good idea, but I'll go somewhere different direction. Like I'll still say that we need to address the linebacking core and add as much talent as we possibly can to that position as well, because it's still like one of the least depth areas on the defense. Not that the other parts don't need help, but we still need a playmaker there. And arguably, depending on what they make in free agency, I'm not about to go that far, but I'll say linebacker, depending on scenario, O-lineman, depending on the scenario.
Okay. Well, if you've been listening to me, I already am going to tell you what I want. I want to see some pass rush. I want to see some of that defensive line. I think Derek Brown is the ideal fit. Have him join this defensive line, get big, strong, open up some holes for Trey Flowers, Snacks Harrison, Ashawn Robinson if he's still here. We need to get after the quarterback. We need quarterbacks to not be sitting in the pocket for 5-10 seconds long. I want to see pass rush, and I want to see it early. If they decide to go linebacker that has the ability to rush the passer, I'm okay with that as well. But
then you're talking Isaiah Simmons then at that point, because I think Isaiah Simmons he's got that versatility. Isaiah Simmons reminds me so much of Miles Jack, and Miles Jack was one of those guys that I really wanted the Lions to pick up because he's a guy who played running back, he played safety, and now he's playing linebacker. He has speed, he can cover. And when I looked at Simmons, I'm like, yo, this is somebody who can do all those things. But the problem is, it's the same issue the Bears have. Yeah, they picked up a good linebacker in Roquan Smith, but when they lost Adrian Amos, they also went and added a safety in A.D. Jackson to shore up that middle of the field. We take a linebacker and don't get a big play safety, I think that would be a mistake on our part.
Now, Detroit Legend Sportcast says, did you all see that article about the former tight ends talking about Patricia? Yes, I read the article. I know that Mr. I don't know if Luke G, have you read it? I know you just got out of work.
No, you know what? I started reading it as I was getting toward the end of it, and I got through maybe the first paragraph, and I was like, bruh, why people don't see that this is the problem? People keep coming out talking former, and it's just talking about how they go about doing their business night and day. I didn't get to the whole article, but just after that first paragraph, it was clear to me at where he was going with the direction of this team and what the players' thoughts were and how they responded to it.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, there's an article. It's on the Pride of Detroit, too, if you want to read it. It's a former tight end. of the Detroit Lions, who played under Matt Patricia, unloading, and it's unloading fairly well. I'm not wanting to get into it right now because I want to talk NFL draft. So if you ain't take the time to do that later today. We'll probably get into it more. But yeah, I want to see pass rush. I want to see rush early. And what was good about sucking is you get good draft picks. And even the second round draft pick we're going to have is like a high first round pick because it's going to be fairly early. If we have a high one, such as the third pick in the draft and the third in the second round, what do you want to see, Luke? Do you want to see us trading up, trading down, stay in place, first or second round? What are you thinking we should do?
If we're stuck there, they have to take a quarterback. They have to. If we get to the third pick and we're stuck there, they have to take a quarterback. There's so many reasons I can point out why, but nothing more so than the injury that Stafford has is not going to heal up in 1 year. He may be able to play through it, but I promise you, it's not that type of injury. You have to take the quarterback of the future if you're going to do that. Now, if you're telling me you believe that David Blau is the quarterback of the future, okay. But if you're going to hang your hat on that, you better be right as a head coach and as a general manager. But my ideal scenario would be that they trade that third pick and acquire more assets, because if you can move from, say, like third to like maybe somewhere into like between 10 to 15, and you can pick up extra picks and you can add more talent to this team, I'll take that route every time. But if we're stuck at 3, they got to take the quarterback.
What position would you willing to trade back to? And what are you talking about? Just trading a couple picks back, talking in the mid of the first round? What?
No, I mean, if a team is moving up between, let's say if a team is at like 15, right? They're like 15 and moving up, and they want to move up to 3. You're going to get a king's ransom for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You are.
So yeah, you giving, you'll walk away with they first, they second, they third. You'll probably get a first and a second in next year's draft, because this is the year where a lot of the good quarterbacks are coming out. So if all these good quarterbacks is coming out and the team is willing to move up from 15 to 3, yeah, you hold them hostage. You hold them hostage.
That you make such a valuable point. There are quarterbacks in this draft, and I think if we can secure the third pick overall, I think that's the most ideal pick of the whole draft, because y'all know number 1, Burrows is going number 1. We all know who's going number 2. That's Chase Young. And there are quarterback-needy teams with quarterbacks on the board. You got Tua, but he's got the injured hip. You got Herbert. I think if they decided to trade back and get an individual wanting to get a quarterback, we could definitely get a king's ransom, a real good ransom that would upgrade our roster. Nomis, what do you think, man? Do you think we should stay put, go up in the draft, go down in the draft? What do you think?
At this point, it's whatever. Only thing I disagree with Luke on is about going in the first round for a quarterback. But however, like the situation he said, like if we are able to do a king's ransom and trade that third pick and get like a 10th or 15th, and then like also get like extra third and fourth and possibly a second round next year or something like that, you can actually still find a probably more than decent enough quarterback in the third round or fourth round with the extra pick. I mean, don't act like it hasn't happened before. It's happened before. And if you do end up going and taking, let's say it's the 15th pick, that indicates you possibly may go O-line or linebacker if it was one available. I personally wouldn't mind with one of those extra picks as well, going to get another run stopper that can get snaps a few minutes of rest.
And I think that's a good direction you point out. But keep in mind, I said if we're stuck at the third pick, you have to take the quarterback. Because to me, here's the problem. Here's the problem that we run into. The Dallas Cowboys, even though we know that they picked up a quarterback and they picked up Dak Prescott with the thought that he was going to be their future, they picked him up as he's going to be a good backup. And Tony Romo's back injury basically bolted him into it. And then on top of that, they already had the best offensive line in the game. You add on top of that a running back who had over 1,100 yards from the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like poetry in motion. But no, if they're at third, we got to take the quarterback. Because when are we going to be picking higher than that?
You know, here's the thing about trading back, though, and why I would caution it for a couple reasons, but then express why I would do it. First, when it comes to caution, if you look at this last draft, we had a lot of players that we drafted, they didn't make the team. And my fear is if we get a ton of picks, that will happen again. And I don't want that. However, if we decide to trade back from 3 to the mid part of the round and we gain more picks, then we could trade back into the first round from the second round pick, and we can get more talented players in the first round. I think that would be a way to go. But in my opinion, I want us to get the baddest pass rusher in this draft that's available, and who if that be Derek Brown, who I think would be a great player as a defensive tackle and able to rush the passer and stop the run. I think I'm going to take him even at 3, even if we're at 3, unless it has to be a king's ransom. Because I don't want just a bunch of third-round picks, a bunch of fourth-round picks. I want people that's going to play on the team this coming year and make a damn difference. I want a difference maker. I want a individual who is going to scare the shit out of a quarterback. And that's what I want. But I've seen here, there's some opinions that say take the best player available, even if it's the wide receiver.
Whoa. Well, they've been doing that. I'm not even trying to be funny. They've been taking the best player available, but they've been doing best player available for the need. So that's why they took the tight end. They needed a tight end. They wanted to be able to run more 2 tight end sets, even though for some reason they didn't. That's why they took it for the need. They've been doing that, taking the best player available. The year they took Frank Ragnow, was he the best player available? No, but he was the best player available for the need. So I don't know if I would go with the best player available, because if they draft a receiver and we're picking at 3, that receiver better be the second coming of Randy Moss. I should see him blowing past everybody. You hear me? Everybody.
Open.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to be like he needs to be something unbelievable. And I don't know if that would be worth the pick for best player available. We're not that far off that we can't stick to best player available for need.
The reason I would say no when it comes to wide receiver is the obvious. Right now it's our defense. I think that needs help. But I want a player that we get in this draft that's going to be on the field a lot and is going to make plays a lot. If we draft a wide receiver, he's not going to be the number 1 or number 2. So you're not going to see him on the field as much as you're going to see getting a run-stuffing defensive tackle or a pass rusher who will immediately be on the field making a difference for this team. Obviously, I don't think a Derek Brown's an Ndamukong Suh, but he can make a damn impact like Gerald McCoy. I do think he could do that, and that's what we need right now. If it's not that, if they wanted to go with the linebacker, I'm fine with that. Even if they wanted to go the cornerback from Ohio, I can understand the strategy there, but I want a playmaker on defense. I don't think offense. I don't even think offense is on my wish list at all right now. The only way I could see us taking a quarterback or an offensive player is if they fired all the general manager, the head coach, and it's a complete rebuild. And I don't think that's going to happen. They need to get that damn defensive player and make sure that this year we get the pass rush, or this next year we get the pass rush that we have missed out this year. Imagine the secondary that we have with the pass rush. This secondary is talented on this defense. It is talented. Now you give this secondary that's talented a pass rush, good God, we can turn it around. We could. Now, what about the second round pick?
To me, I obviously I got videos coming out that I got to work on and knock out. But to me, the second round pick is a little bit of a toss up, because again, keep in mind, you're talking about us being at the 3rd. So if we're picking the 3rd overall, and I'm telling you that we got to go quarterback with that first pick, now automatically the second pick for me now goes to our next biggest need, and in my opinion, that has to be a defensive back. It has to be, because the one thing I realized is this: it's Tracy Walker, and that's it. Tavon Wilson at safety, not working. This is not working. He's inconsistent, and every week he's getting put on somebody's football card. Darius Slay don't care, and he's already going to be gone anyway. Rashawn Melvin is only good in man coverage. He's not very good in zone. And Justin Coleman is up and down. So you need a defensive back, whether it be safety or corner. I think in the second round, you target that at that point.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Nomis, go ahead, man.
As far as the second round pick, I'm not even sure if we should take a DB in the top 3 rounds unless he's undeniable, because it's real hit and miss when it comes to DB. Sometimes, you might get a guy who can be a star, but that may still take a couple of years. My thing
True,
is,
but
where
what if
I
it's a
would go,
safety though? What if it's a safety
yeah,
though, Nomis?
I know, I'm with you, Luke. I ain't necessarily disagreeing with you. It's just kind of hard sometimes, man, when it comes to DBs. I hate looking at that position, but if I had to go my route in the second round, like I said earlier, I'm going with a good run stopper. The guy who can definitely come in for snaps to be like the future, especially when his contract gets towards the end. Somebody who can definitely be on the field for us, because he'll still get a lot of reps due to the fact we rotate a lot. So it'll almost be like the perfect position. You never know who we can end up giving up either in free agency. So we might need to get that area, because that was an issue. Snaps may not been perfect this year, but when he was definitely off the field, you can really tell the defense is flat more than it probably was when he was out there. And we need some guys that can really rotate, especially considering the injuries we had on there. And that's only for a run stopper, more so.
Now, if we go first round pick, we go Derek Brown, and that's kind of who I want. We're a pass rusher. I'm not taking no one in the second round because I just traded up in the first round. And that's what I'm going to be aggressive in this draft. I'm going to trade back into the first round and pick another stud on the defense, whether it be a linebacker or a safety. I think that's the way to go for your second pick, because I'm looking to get playmakers who's going to immediately start. If we look what John Gruden did by trading away his players, he picked up some first round picks, and that team was immediately better. And that's what I'm going to do to this defense. I added the defensive tackle in the first pick. In the second pick, I jumped back in there and got me a stud linebacker or a stud safety. And immediately this defense is going to get better. I think that we got to be aggressive in this NFL draft. We have to be aggressive in free agency. No screwing around this year.
Let me ask you this, Mike. I want to play a little devil's advocate, Mike. Mike, let's just say hypothetically they do what you say, and let's say they do trade up back into the first round. But in order for them to trade up into the first round, they got to give up their third, fifth, sixth, and seventh on top of that second, and then they trade back in. So they walk out the draft with 4 players, and now they got the safety or the pass rusher plus a D tackle that you want. What do you say to the fans who have a problem and say, man, we gave up too many assets to go back into that first?
Well, it just depends where you're picking. But if in that scenario, if we gave up that much, we must have really went well into the first round, maybe into the 20s, low 20s. And I would say this. We had a lot of draft picks this year in this draft. They're not on the team, and they ain't playing. There's a lot of them that's not. We literally got Nada. He just started playing. He was on the practice squad. We had a 7th-round pick, a defensive tackle that's not playing. We seen Ty Johnson, the 6th-round pick. He's not making much of a difference. I want to get studs who are going to immediately start. I am fine with Bob Quinn filling up the rest of this team when it comes to depth. I think the depth is fairly good, but I want playmakers now. Depth is good. We got a lot of depth on this team. When it comes to the safety position, we have depth there, but we don't have a playmaker right now besides Walker. We need another playmaker. We got linebackers who are as good at depth, right? But we don't have a damn playmaker. I want a playmaker. Defensive line. Again, we have defensive ends, defensive tackles, but I want a playmaker. It is time to put playmakers on this team, not depth, not just the Frank Ragnows. No, I'm going aggressive, and I'm going to get some badass, scary people on this defense that'll rattle the hell out of quarterbacks and finally make this damn team scary the way it needs to be in the Honolulu blue and silver.
Man, talk to him, Mike. Boy, man, got me to get into an accident.
May I add something to that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like what you were saying, Luke, about like, okay, if the fan base won't be satisfied if we come out with just 4 players to draft, people have to remember, like Mike was saying, we still got a bunch of guys that's still technically on the roster from last year's draft that hasn't, like, for example, Austin Bryant, and then Manya Warriors against that. So you still got guys developing who should be possibly good for some good snaps next year. So it's not like we're going to be setting ourselves back if we trade. So it's like Mike was saying, if we can get impact players out of those 4 picks, that really does help set the tone but the rest of the guys coming into their own from 2018 draft and 2019 class as well. So actually, it could still end up working out.
Because you know somewhere, somehow, some possible way on this green earth that we live on, that somebody's going to come out and the first thing they're going to say is, oh, well, you know, we only got 4 picks. We traded away assets. We need too many players. And, you know, everybody got future vision. You know, they got future vision. But if you telling me we walk out, let's just say hypothetically, this is what happened. Let's say somehow, somewhere, this is the draft. They come out and they get, to me, I wouldn't want this to be the first pick, but this is what the consensus for a lot of the Lions fans is. If they come out and they get Chase Young with that 3rd pick overall, if they're 3rd, and then they turn around and trade back into the 1st, and they take somebody like Terrell Lewis from Alabama, or let's say for some reason Derek Brown fall, or better yet, let's say that safety we was talking about fall, and they pick that safety up, that ball hawk playmaking safety. Who's going to be upset at that? Why would you be mad? You know what I mean? Why would you be upset? So, you know, to me, it's one of them things where you have to look at it from a standpoint and say, hey, this team is at a point now where, how can I best put it? This team is at a point now where you have to be able to take the dogs. That's what Mike is talking about. He wants the dogs. He won't, and I'm telling you right now, Ndamukong Suh numbers may be down, but his impact is still felt. That defense is performing better than ever with him on the field than they ever did with Gerald McCoy. That's the truth. Go and look at the Rams. How was Aaron Donald doing? He won't see another 22-sack season again. I promise you that. But he got that with Ndamukong Suh.
Scared of one guy, and then the other can get you.
Right. We need an identity on this defense. And again, I talked about it the last offseason. My identity I envision for the Lions is a scary punch you in the mouth, punch you in the throat type of team. Right now we don't have that identity. That's what we need. We need more Bo Scarboroughs on there that's just going to plow people over. That's what I want to see. That's how you win in the NFL. You're scary. You're scary. You want to have a badass defense. I want a scary ass defense because defenses can travel. Defenses can play in the winter. Defenses can ruin the hell out of teams even if they have great offenses. To me, we need to get that identity on defense. Right now, this defense is not played to what it could be, and a pass rush has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're the least blitzing team. The problem is this, okay? If you go through and you look at the New England Patriots and a lot of the teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, those teams who do that 3-4, all those teams who do that 3-4, what they do is they literally have people who can hold their own in the middle, right? Like you can't move him; he's unmovable. But then they got the dogs on the outside that they use to anchor and set the linebackers free. We don't do that. That's why the pass rush is suspect with us. And when you go through and you look at the process that we are at when it comes to getting things done on our side of the ball, having a dog who's disrespectful and rude, and when he knock you down, he ain't trying to get you up and tell you, hey, man, you took that hit. That's a good thing. We had that a few times, and we kept getting rid of them. DeAndre Levy, Ndamukong Suh, you just like bump it, get them out of here. But at the end of the day, you're right. We need to find some dogs and some playmakers, Mike.
And another way to get playmakers and dogs is free agency. And there's players out there the Lions can get to fix this team. Luke, what positions are you looking for when it comes to free agency for this team that can help us upgrade the roster?
Honestly, I know it's going to not rub people the right way, but offensive line. I just don't like rookie offensive linemen. You know, there are very few who come in and dominate. Joe Thomas, great. Quentin Nelson, great. Now everything in between that, it was a growing process. And Tyron Smith, can I say he came in and no, but there are some people who have come in and dominated, and I'm looking for those type of players, and I don't even think that we're putting those people in position. But I think if we can get offensive line as one spot, and honestly, um, again, there's gonna be some people ain't gonna like, but we need to add another running back.
No, that makes sense. No, that does make sense. Go ahead, Nomis.
Go ahead,
oh no, you still talking?
No, go ahead. You got it, Nomis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. You're totally 100%. Not only just signing guys, but we may have to trade somebody as well. Like, we don't know if we go keep Wagner or not. Maybe he stays. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if they don't touch the line, really, maybe that's just what it is. They just need another year to play together or develop together. I mean, I'm hearing different stories about the O-line. So I don't think adding another draft pick per se will be the ultimate way to help us. As far as another running back, you definitely need to add another power back to make sure you got the depth. It don't have to be a major star because, you may want to re-sign guys with that money we got as well. So we just need a guy who really fits what Darrell Bevel is selling. You know what I'm saying? That's to me why Kerryon didn't always get the ball, because although he can run inside, he can't stay healthy. You need more of a power runner. So I can agree with both those points 100%.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely look for the guard position, or if they're wanting to go tackle, preferably a guard. I mean, you got some talent out there right now in free agency that we could probably get. Brandon Sharif, again, from Washington. He's 28. He seems to be a plug-and-play guard. I think we do keep Graham Glasgow because he can play guard and center. I think that's such a good, unique talent that he has. If we have injury, he can just go in and fill in. I think if you're thinking running back, and who I would target is not what a lot of people would target, but I'm not going to lie, man. I like power. I like Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans. He's 26. He is a beast of a brawler, and I would take him over Melvin Gordon and make him Bo Scarborough as well as Kerryon Johnson are 1, 2, 3, and that would be one power team that teams would have to deal with. It'd be hard for them to consistently stop these powerful guys getting in there when it comes to at least Henry and Scarborough, and that's what I would do. I'm going guard. Go ahead.
Now, here's my thing. The only reason I don't want a person like Derrick Henry, and this is me thinking crazy. I don't think Patricia makes it past 3 to 4 games. If he come back next season and they drop the first 2 or 3 games, and now you don't went out and got another power back for this power run system, you have literally set this franchise back even further. We need to figure out who's the running back in free agency that brings a little bit more versatility. So when a new coach come in, he's not looking to quickly ship him out and shop him.
Well, I like power, and I think Derrick Henry brings the power, and he's still young at 26, and I don't think he's going to cost as much as the other running back, Melvin Gordon, who will be on the market, and there's a couple of other guys out there that will be there. I think that would be a good way to go for sure.
Now, I don't necessarily have any names per se for running back. However, I do, like, ever since we got, like, for example, like when we got Devon Kennard, I've been on this little theory. Do we necessarily need a big name, or do we just need a guy we know actually can make some plays? That's just kind of where I'm at with this. When it comes to the skill position guys, it's just we need to get more physical. And to me, getting a physical running back that's still young and like in the bottom part of free agency that just may need his own time to shine, that could be the key there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't get into the name. A lot of times we forget that a lot of the people who came in wasn't names. Where was Darius Leonard name mentioned at when that draft was happening? Okay, where's the people talking about him at? I didn't hear nobody talking about him. He just came in and took the whole thing by storm. Like, get out my way. And it's a whole other people. How does some of these people? How does Snacks go undrafted? Look at some of the things that people overlook.
You can always go undrafted for a running back like that. I mean, for a while, I thought Tion Green had opportunities to me at the time when we got him, but they gave up on him. And then, you still got – you never know if Ty Johnson next year, too, would determine if he's going to be a breakout, kind of a more improved player, or the next Dwayne Washington. We never know what's going to happen with him. So you still got that there. Yeah, year one is very underwhelming, but you never know what year 2 can bring out. You never know.
Yeah, he's got to work on his vision. He's got to hook up with some people who can help him work on some minor things. Because, like I said, when you watch Bo Scarborough, he seems to have better vision. I see him cutting it back a lot of times. The blocks go one way, and he cuts it back and gets yards. And I'm like, where? And that's why I realized the problem with Ty Johnson was when I was watching. I think it was the Dallas game, and I'm like, yo, dude, I know I got a unfair advantage to look to see it, but I'm like, that's a skill set that is rare for people to have it. He didn't have it. If he cuts that thing back, it wasn't a cowboy over there to do anything with him. And that's when I realized, he got a vision problem. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The name doesn't matter. Can they get the job done?
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Can they get the job done? Put in pieces. See, when it comes to free agency, I want the guy that it may not be the biggest name in the world, but who will make an impact in positions to succeed situationally too. Like if you're looking to get an older veteran like a Gerald McCoy, who's not an every down defensive lineman, and you're willing to get him for part-time to do on third downs and situationally, yeah, he's got a name, but it's not going to cost as much because he's 32. I think that's ways to go as well. And I think we get the major playmakers in the NFL draft.
Yep.
I don't know about him per se though, because like I said, again, if you go for him and spend cheap money, I'd rather again be another young guy that costs the same thing, not well known, but definitely be productive. It is at that point for me right now. I remember when I said that this offseason we have to be not only decent spenders, but we have to be real technical the way we go about it. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
No, I was going to add to that and say, yeah, this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. You have the money, so you got to spend it all. That hasn't proved to be the right decision.
No, and we do got money, but we need to also sign Kenny Galladay. There's some other free agents on our team that we need to decide to lock up for the future. And so we don't want to blow all that money just on other people. We do want to extend the people that we believe is going to be on this team for a while and contribute for us for years to come. One thing also we found out is the Lions placed Marvin Jones on IR, but not Stafford. Luke, what is your thoughts about this?
Listen, this is my thoughts. My thoughts is I'm trying so hard to look at things different, but every time I look at them, it keeps coming back to poor coaching. So I did a little digging, and I thought that, okay, this is Bob Quinn not doing it. Matthew Stafford is not on it because this is all Matt Patricia's deciding that, no, we want to have him just in case. And I think this is absurd. The man got broken bones in his back. He should not come in one game. Okay. Kerryon Johnson should have stayed on injury reserve. Why are you taking him off? You've already been fined. Now you want to do your job appropriately and put certain people on there. Then do it the right way and put the quarterback on there. Okay. Because if you don't, you're doing nothing but more damage. He shouldn't have no opportunity to come into this game. And this is what pisses me off about this Lions organization. They should just be going down there and saying, oh, he's on IR. I don't care what the coach say. Tell him he's on IR. Because if they find a way to force him back into a game, I don't care if the other guy get hurt. And he can't be the guy to go in and fill in as a backup. There's no reason. And to me, what I see is a coach who is trying to create the perfect explanation to why the season sucks. Let me put as many players as I can on there, but have my quarterback be hurt, but say he wasn't ready to come back. And it makes perfect sense for why now all of a sudden we're not winning because we got all these injuries. And that's not what's happening here. Mm-hmm. That's not what's going on.
Spike Spiegel. Do you think we trade Slay for a first? There's 0% chance that we're going to get a first round pick for him.
Nah. He's going to be a third. We get a third for him. I told people off rip, if you trade him in the season, you get a second. If you trade him after the season, you're thinking third or less. You'll be lucky to get a 3rd round pick for a guy that's at 29 years old on the last year of his deal and he wants out.
Mm-hmm. Nomis, what do you think about the also Hand was put on IR as well as Marvin Jones. So what do you think about them being on IR right now?
At this point, I mean, it is what it is at this point, because like I said, Hand only played 1 game this year. And Marvin Jones, at this point, sad thing with him, he may not be that injured, but at this point, because they know the season over, they're like, all right, just go ahead, kill it, save it for next year. And, with Matthew Stafford, part of the reason why I believe they didn't put him on IR is just because they probably don't now want to make themselves look extra more guilty because they know they didn't put him on IR when he initially got hurt like they should have. So now they don't want to really reopen the case. So, okay, why y'all putting them on IR now? So what's going on? What shady business is this? And that could cause them to be in more trouble and potentially lose even more money in draft picks. The positive thing about Marvin Jones being on IR, no offense to that because I don't see that, but Travis Fulham was promoted. So hopefully now we get to see what he's about, possibly. They're saying there's opportunity for another young player to get development, which is more reason why we probably don't need to go in the first round and get no receiver because you got Marvin Hall, who's been quiet the last couple games, they targeted plays for him, and now you got him coming into the rotation. So I think it is what it is.
Now I can tell you who we can put on IR. Anybody not putting them likes up, we can put you on injury reserve because we need y'all to give us some support and some love and get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell. It's so much coming from the DSA, so much coming from Michael Mike, so much coming from Nomis J, so much coming from Luke G. You want to be a part of that process. Make sure you hit them likes, hit that bell, and hit that subscribe button. We don't want to put nobody on IR, but if we have to, we do the Lions thing too. We don't care if you got a hangnail. That's enough to be put on IR, okay? You got an uncontrollably gas, IR, you should go. All right?
Yeah. And Nomis, Marvin Hall is on IR. That's why you're not seeing him a lot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so he got put on IR a couple of weeks ago, man.
And Lions, Detroit Lions, if y'all listen to me, can we finally give Jesse James 5 freaking targets in at least 1 game? Please. Just 5 targets.
Please.
5 freaking targets.
I didn't like the bag for it.
And stop doing Logan Thomas, bro. Y'all put him out there in routes where he by himself around 8 defenders and trying to throw a pass. Could y'all stop that? Come on, man.
They killing me. They killing me.
Really, dude? Oh my God, I can't have this on here. There we go. I pretty much know who that is, and that's okay. But yeah, I can't be having pornographic images on my chat. The new YouTube rules, the TOS for YouTube, if you don't know, is they are cracking down on creators. And when it comes to stuff like that, that will get your channel shut down, even if it's a comment and you're not the one doing it. So yeah, I'm not gonna have that on there for sure. And look, when it comes to the IR position and these guys get placed on IR, no need to risk it for next year. Throw them on IR, bumps and bruises. Get Fulgham out there. Get the young players some reps. I do not care at all about that. When it comes to Matthew Stafford not being on IR, I think he's just helping out the team, kind of being little coach on the field for the quarterbacks there, as well as probably tickets and
but what they got to do with what is him helping the team out got to do with him being on IR? Big Ben was on IR and he was still helping out the team. What am I missing? Is there some type of rule that says if you're on IR you can't be on the sideline? Did I miss something? Like seriously, the whole idea that Matt Patricia is not putting staff on IR because he don't want to be on it. So what? You think Marvin Jones want to be on it? You think Jeff Driscoll with a hamstring injury want to be on it? Like what is this? I just don't understand why does him helping out the team have to do anything with IR? Like maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this team. It's hard to explain everything.
It's almost like they do things, and I'm telling you, the only reason they're putting all these people on IR is because this is what they're going to sell to the ticket holders. Hey, you know, we had a really down year, but look, we had 21 injuries. Or look, we had this person out, this person was out. Look, you can see it on paper. He's on IR. Look, we didn't even have this guy. But we're going to be better next year because guess what? Those guys are coming off IR. Stop it. We have a systematic problem that is resulting in losses. That's what we have. And anybody who argue outside of that is full of crap. They're lying. They're lying to you. They can't tell you that, oh, it's really just, the problem is really just the defense and we're not old enough. That's bull. That's bull.
Mm-hmm. Now, Spike Siegel says thoughts on Kareem Hunt. I love Kareem Hunt. I think he would be great on this team. I thought they should have got him last year, take a risk. Obviously, they didn't, but I like Kareem Hunt, and he would be definitely a good back having that rotation if they decide to go that route. But that's not going to happen because this regime usually doesn't take chances on players who have a history. So, and we're a chess player team. We are not the punch people in the face team right now.
Right.
Literally, not figuratively, but literally. So, yeah. Panthers are looking to trade Cam Newton. Luke, how does that affect the Lions?
Oh, this is big news. This is news that we should have been talking about a long time ago. We got to pay attention to this. All right, first of all, let's be clear, people. Let's be clear. If the Panthers find a way to trade Cam Newton, that means that, let's say hypothetically, the Bengals are interested in Cam Newton. And now the Panthers decide to trade up and they get Joe Burrow. Or let's say they trade up and they move to say, let's say we stay at 5, they move to 3. They want to trade it to 3. Here's the problem that we run into now, people. If they're trading a quarterback that people still think is a franchise quarterback to take a quarterback, that means that there's one less quarterback you're going to get. And if that means that you're not going to get that quarterback and somebody else wanted that quarterback, now that's one less defensive player you're going to get. But that's not even the worst part about it. What it does now is it puts more pressure on the Detroit Lions to now sit there and say, well, they got rid of they number 1 overall pick. What we waiting on? And what that would do is whatever Cam Newton get, he will be setting the market for what you get for Matthew Stafford. He will be setting the market for how our draft go because he's going to be able to change it. Because now, if a team is able to get the quarterback that they want and they can give up a future first or something like that, and then they turn around and still take a player that you thought we was going to get, maybe Derek Brown, maybe Chase Young, and we're sitting at 3, and let's say for some reason the Bengals trade the 2, trade that pick to the Panthers. Panthers take Chase Young, and the Bengals walk away with their quarterback still. We are in a bad position. It will shuffle everything up. It sets a precedent and a standard that many of us have not thought about. If that man gets traded, it's going to start the whole firestorm for what's wrong with the Detroit Lions.
Now, I'm going to take a different approach here before I get to Nomis. You know what team I could see trading for him? It rhymes with the Chicago Layers. I could see the Chicago Bears making a trade for him, getting rid of Trubisky. We'd have to deal with Cam Newton twice a year with that defense that Chicago has, and they are a running team. I think that would really hurt us in the NFC North. I don't think Cam Newton is the greatest quarterback in the world, but he definitely would be an upgrade for the Chicago Bears, who have a really good defense, and that offense could shine. What do you think, Nomis? How would that affect the Lions if Cam Newton gets traded?
God darn you, Mike.
Why do you think I went after Luke?
Oh, man. I mean, if Cam Newton gets traded, I don't even think he's going to be in the NFC personally. If he were, I think you're right. The one team that would possibly get him would be the Bears, but I don't see that happening. If I had to say where he would go, it will set the market first off of Matt. The big questions will raise: is the Lions going to trade Matthew Stafford and this and that and the third? Are they keeping him? That would happen. And it will be similar to another situation we've seen with remember when the defense tackle for one of the other teams got a big contract. I think it was for the Bears, and then they started talking about snacks. And then I say the team in the AFC will be like I would take an opportunity to say maybe Indy or Jacksonville. Possibly he would probably end up in Jacksonville or so because I think they may be. I don't know.
They like Gardner Minshew.
Well, it's not even Gardner Minshew. It's that they got Gardner Minshew and they gave a big contract to Nick Foles, so Jacksonville not going to work. And then you can't send him to Indy because that coach over there, Frank Reich, he loves Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
And he's not finna play Jacoby Brissett. He'll go and get a rookie before he go and get Cam Newton.
Or
when I go
possibly Tennessee.
Well, here's the thing. Tennessee could be an option, but you got Mike Vrabel over there, and I don't know if he really liked two vocal quarterbacks.
And Tannehill's actually doing a good job for
exactly. So, I mean, if you go through and you look through that whole thing, if you say at best AFC, Dolphins maybe, Bengals maybe, but then it started getting real thin unless the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to move on from Big Ben. But to move on from Big Ben for a guy who stays injured in Cam Newton doesn't make sense neither.
Right.
So it's going to be an NFC team. And the Bears make the most sense. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of draft picks. I think Mike is hitting it on there. He could end up with the Bears. Don't let the Vikings come up short. They might be willing to take a gander.
I can't see the Bears though, man, because I mean, don't he kind of costs still a pretty penny though, don't he? And then you still got Khalil Mack's contract. I'm talking about him to be traded to the Bears.
Most of his money has been paid already, so you're getting the tail end of that contract. That's why they're able to trade him. The same thing is going to happen after this year, at the next season with Stafford. You're going to get the tail end of that contract. It's easier to trade him. Here's the thing. Here's what happened. They sat there in Carolina and said, "Let me look at the numbers that Kyle Allen put up and look at Cam Newton." And the only thing Kyle Allen didn't have was the rushing, but the rest was pretty much similar. And they figured, well, we getting the same production as long as we can run the ball. We just need to get another quarterback to move this guy while we can get assets. So it's a logical move there, but it changes the whole landscape, I believe, for the Lions.
Oh, I got one more team to throw at you before we get next. Do you think, even despite the performance he made this past Sunday, do you think that they may trust that young quarterback in Denver?
Yeah.
Or would they take a chance on, or do you think they could throw their hat in there for Cam Newton?
See, I think they could throw their hat in there for Cam Newton, but I think John Elway, he can't afford to miss on a quarterback again. So
yeah.
he I mean, if you look at how many quarterbacks he has went through, Brock Osweiler, it's too many to even count. It's so many. Now you're gonna throw your hat and trading up some serious assets to get Cam Newton. He better perform. The only thing he threw his hat in and got good on was Peyton Manning, and that was for one season. After that, Peyton Manning was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's going to do that step, but that's what I'm saying. All these little things you look at, this is going to affect the Lions more because Cam Newton may still end up in the NFC, and it may be to a divisional rival. And if it's not to a divisional rival, at the very least, he now sets the standard for what we can do with our quarterback if we decide to move on.
Mm-hmm. Luke, this offseason is approaching, and it's approaching very quickly, specifically for us Lions fans. How do you want to see the Lions target this offseason, and what do you want to see?
I want to see some changes in the coaching staff. Let's start there. Let's start with those changes. After I see the changes in the coaching staff, I want to see them actively going to get players who want to be here and not choving out this big money to get them. Okay, if I got to pay all this big money for them to come here, I'm good. So I need somebody who wants to come here and prove that they got it. So the first thing they got to do is start off by start off with Bob Quinn saying, I have a standard. 9-7 is not good enough, and anything underneath that is not acceptable, including 3 Lord knows what in 1. So if he starts there, we got a good start going. But if he don't start there, then the clock will start for Bob Quinn, in my opinion. Right now, the clock is not started for Bob Quinn.
Okay. Nomis, how do you want to see the Lions attack this offseason?
As far as like Luke said with the coaching staff, I need him to get
anything.
Right. I'm starting with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want them to find the proper positional coaches too, not just coordinators, but positional coaches need to kick it up a notch too. The linebackers need to get better. Some of this is on the players. I need some of those players too to look inside themselves and say, "Hey, we got to do our job better." Don't take coaching or scheme to say, like, for example, with Jared Davis, to grab a quarterback and not pull him down. Some of these guys got to do better on their own. It can't be all on the position coach, but that's where I would like to start. We need guys who can develop our linebackers better, guys who can do better with our tight ends, and get everybody in line. We need this organization to start kicking. You know what I'm saying? Make the right moves, not just the big moves, but again, let's be technical. Let's get everybody in line. Might want to take a good look at that health and strength conditioning coach. That's another thing
like Manby said.
Yeah.
So Manby's made that about the strength and conditioning coach to get rid of him. There's things that could take place when it comes to that side of the business. When it comes to the Lions, what I want to see first is I want to see Pasqualoni gone. And that's the number one thing, whether he retires or get let go. I think Patricia is going to stay and Quinn's going to stay. And with that fact, when Pasqualoni goes, I want to see them getting yourself a great defensive coordinator to really help this team out, just like we did with KFC, going to Darrell Bevell. And that would be a good start for me. The rest, when it comes to the players, I want to see them get healthy and rest their bodies, because we have a long injury list when it comes to this team, and they need to heal. Specifically, Mr. Matthew Stafford. When it comes to free agents, let's build up the trenches. Let's get specific pieces that fit what we are doing, and players that are not injury prone in free agency. And when it comes to the draft, I want to see absolute aggressiveness in getting impact players early in the draft and throughout the draft to help this team win. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking to see. We don't talk about KFC here, Mike. Yeah. We don't do. Go ahead.
No, it's just funny because when you talk about that, man, and I see some of the comments with people like, Quinn, and I'm like, listen, Quinn to me, and I know this is gonna sound real crazy. Quinn to me really only had 2 years, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I think it's absurd that they made him keep Jim Caldwell. I have no doubts they made him keep Jim Caldwell. Then after he got rid of Jim Caldwell, they made him keep JBC.
Wait, what?
Like, this is how it went down. Stay with me. He came in. He had Jim Caldwell. It didn't work out. He got rid of Jim Caldwell. He brought in Patricia, and then they kept JBC as the offensive coordinator. That's not on Quinn. I believe that he was told to keep that. And then what happened was when it didn't work, they swiftly removed him. And how do I know that? Because Quinn said, this is the more of the style that I feel comfortable with drafting in, with people that I can work with to get the players that need to be here to win. If you look at this team, it's hard to say that this team is not a better team than it was. The talent is there. The coach needs to put them in position to show that talent. So Quinn has only had 2 seasons. The first 2 he was forced to keep something that he didn't. That would be like the next general manager coming in and they like, hey, you got to keep Matt Patricia. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how that works.
Totally understand your point. Totally understand your point there. What do you think, Nomis? What's your answer for these questions?
Oh, Lord. Threw me a hard one there. I mean, I feel where you're coming from, but it's like, because the situation is when you come from an organization that's winning and they usually have to come in at the last minute and make decisions, you kind of knew they was gonna keep Jim Caldwell. I don't think it was like he was forced to. I just think after he talked to him a while, I think he just said, "Yo, okay, I'm gonna see how this go. He's a veteran man. I kind of like him." And you're right, Lou. He may not have personally wanted to keep him, but now that dude with them 3 letters, I just disagree with that entirely. I think that was all Matt Patricia, personally.
Right, but here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. Why was he even allowed to keep him though? And then here's the other part you got to look at too. You got to look at it from this standpoint too. What was the record of Jim Caldwell prior to him going 9-7?
Oh, it was 7-9 after just going 11-5 in the playoffs.
Right. So he went 7-9. He came in, and so they didn't make him keep him because he had this winning record of at come off a winning season. No, that's why I think they made him keep him. He was literally had that 7-9 season. They had struggling every damn game. They came back in 9-7, still struggling, and he said it wasn't good enough. Now with the JBC part, here's the thing. Most general managers fire everybody, but the one thing that was picking up in that 9-7 season was the offense and Matthew Stafford under who? JBC. And that's why they kept him. So I think that all fell on like you said, I think that all falls on the Lions telling them to keep him. I don't think Bob Quinn wanted to keep him because as soon as he can get rid of him, he did.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm right or wrong. Didn't they fire JBC and like it was still the season was still going on?
Yeah, they fired him like the day at New Year's Day.
Right.
Like late. Yeah, that's when they let him go.
And the season was still technically going on, and
right.
and they got rid of him. But now all of a sudden now we not firing nobody because that wasn't the people he wanted. He was like, bump this. I need to get a head start on this. And one thing I know about coaches, they won't interview with another team while another coach is occupying that position because it's disrespectful and it can happen to them.
You know what I always was curious about though too, why he kept Caldwell. I mean, to me, like when you look at how when Matt Patricia eventually got over here, it seemed like Patricia wanted to wait till he was ready to be officially a head coach and say, okay, I'm ready to step away. Because I mean, that's just how I feel. Who was there? If I'm right, who was there for him to pick up as a head coach candidate, like that he would have been trustworthy with? That's another reason why I think he didn't initially choose to move on from Caldwell, because it was like, who else at the time would you consider bringing in? It felt like he was always
There's a few options. Let's start off with the most obvious one, Terrell Austin. Let's start with that one. He said that they gave him an interview, and he said that he never felt so disrespected in his life because they only did it because he was black, and it's the Rooney Rule. He knew that he knew that he had zero chance, and that's why he didn't even want to waste his energy. He had zero chance because they always wanted Matt Patricia. So let's start there. Terrell Austin would have been a good one.
You would like him as a head coach?
I would listen. I know our defense performed under him, so hey, and they respected him. I didn't see 1,000 players coming out in force trying to gun his coaching down. They doing that to Matt Patricia.
I mean, yeah, but you got a guy coming from a whole different organization now. He's like changing what you used to, so a lot of players probably will react that way. Now, and I'm not saying that any of our coaching staff from that regime or this regime is perfect, but I'm just saying, players had that team when they've been, when you've been around somebody so long, then see them go, and then somebody new comes in and they come with a different philosophy that you used to. Of course, you're gonna have Lockhorns like that. I think that's just life. Personally, more so than just football. I mean, but yeah, I feel where you're coming from. That's what makes it so hard, because Austin was good at one thing. He was good at bringing the most out of a player you wouldn't expect him to get the most out of. Like, you didn't see Quandre Diaz blossoming under him the way you would expect. You know what I'm saying? He had 2 really good years under him, which was his rookie to me, and then like year 3. But that middle season was terrible, and I blame that one on Austin personally. The way he was, but sometimes I don't know, man. it's real up there because you got to remember the Falcons. He said he didn't get a serious interview, I think, from Atlanta either when they were looking for coaches, hiring coaches process did. And he said it was a lot of teams that rejected him. Remember, so I think it was more than obviously him being black because you still got a few coaches out there that's black, man. I don't know if it was all that. Maybe it was the Lions, but he said it wasn't just Lions. He said I think it was the Falcons and somebody else. He said they didn't take the interview seriously.
Yeah. All right, just saying, man. Just put it out there that it's just shocking to me that's why I only count 2 seasons for Bob Quinn.
All right,
folks, it is your time. Ask us questions. If you want to ask us all one question individually, if you want to talk about anything, just ask us a question, and we will get into it. It looks like buddy Mr. Nomus J just got kicked out. I'm sure he'll get back in. But if you got any questions, go ahead and ask us, and we shall give you an answer for. What's the percentage of players that shut up and play on the team?
I can answer that. 85% of the roster was turned over for Matt Patricia. So if 85% of the roster was turned over and it was guys that you pick and they still talking, that's on you. That's on you. If 1% of it is talking, or 2%, let's just say 15% is talking. 15% is still left that's got a problem. Then you are not the right coach for this team, because I can tell you this much: those people who are not buying in, it's only a few of them left anyway. So to me, I don't see how it's a player issue for them to shut up and play. No, they're doing that, but these are his guys. These are his handpicked dudes. And if you go through and just look at it, who is on the team that was left from over there? There's only a few people. We got 3 completely new tight ends. Okay. We got all kinds of new defensive linemen. Lord Jesus. We got a few new linebackers. That was all from Matt Patricia. I mean, we have the things that he asked for. He didn't want Quandre Diggs there. He's gone. Right? Like, this falls on him. So to me, 85% of it is there. So 15% is what I'm going to give you. That probably still is like not feeling what he's doing.
Mr. I says, are we winning more than 6 games next season? I have no idea.
Who's the head coach?
Yeah, there's so many uncertainties for this team. It's hard to answer that. DSA, do we go defensive heavy in this draft? I prefer that way, but I want to get playmakers, not necessarily a lot of players, but playmakers. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'd go there. Is Jalen Hurts a first rounder if Oklahoma? Shit, I just lost. Okay, there. If Oklahoma beats the LSU, what do you think, Nomus? No.
I can't determine that based off if they beat a certain team. I just can't. I mean, that ask me later down the line. That's how
I wouldn't take them.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take him. Not to be my quarterback. No way. I've seen enough of Jalen Hurts to know that he's not an NFL quarterback.
Right.
Now, Crimson says, how's my videos? He's a YouTuber as well, so go subscribe there. They're fine. I just noticed it the other day that he had a YouTube. I'm like, what the hell? This is Crimson. I didn't know he was making videos. had me shocked there, man, so I had no idea. Are we going to address the offensive line? Absolutely. Definitely, we're going to address it.
They better.
Who do you think's the next defensive coordinator? What do you think, Nomus?
Personally, I don't know if we will get a new coordinator because I just feel like they're not going to scapegoat anybody on those 2 coordinators at all. I think they keep them 1/3 year personally.
Ooh, yeah. In that case, then everybody gets fired. Quinn go, Patricia go, the whole squad go. I don't care who it is. Defensive line coach go. If you carry bags, they go. If they keep this whole squad, the whole coaching staff together, everybody got to go. First sign of trouble. First 2 L's. Bye. Whole squad. Drop the DJ Clues bum on it. Blow it all up. Seriously. No way. Absolutely not. If you're asking me who would I prefer, Dan Quinn from the Falcons, because he's finna get fired. But when he was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks, I was happy. And if you're going to tell me I can't have Rex Ryan as the head coach, I will still take him to be the defensive coordinator if we're going to keep this 3-4.
Okay. Tactile says, do you guys read the article of Mike McCarthy for head coach opinions? I have not read that article. Just tell me what site it is so I can read it and get back with you on that.
I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't touch Mike McCarthy. Just
Ed Whiten says, should we hire Ron Rivera as defensive coordinator? I wish we could, but he's going to be a head coach.
Yeah, he's a head coach.
He's going to be a head coach. So I feel it's Caldwell regime. No Miller, Tactile, Drummond. I'm just kind of going through this real quick. Matt P. A lot of there look correct. Okay. So, yeah, folks. Does Marvin Jones go and does Fulgham take his spot, Luke?
No. Nope. Because, see, what they're going to do is this. You're going to run the risk of taking a cap hit. That's one. But two, you're going to run the risk of getting rid of somebody who just turned in, 9 touchdowns on the season? Almost 1,000 yards. I mean, it's like 700 or 800 some yards, but still, you're going to turn that guy into what? To do what? No. I think he stays. Now after that season, yeah, he's going to be a cooked goose. He's going to have to show up and show out again. But Marvin Jones isn't going anywhere. That would be a foolish move by them because you still got to go out and pay Kenny Galladay, and then you're going to basically give up money to pay a guy. I don't think it's going to work like that. They're not going to take a negative hit like that to go out and pay Kenny Galladay and then roll Kenny Galladay with unknown commodities just so everybody can tee off on Kenny Galladay. It's just not going to happen.
What is going on, Jordan Cartwright? Welcome to the chat. You're kind of at the end of it, but you can always rewind. He has almost 909, Luke. What do you can get from Jeff Okuda and a trade for Slay? Oh, do you think we can get him? And, yeah, I mean, they could go that route. They could go that route if they wanted to take him with that first pick. So, definitely could be. Folks, the Thursday night game is about to begin, and we want to watch it as well as you do. So I'm going to go ahead and do final thoughts. Nomis, what do you got to say to the people?
Oh, man, thank you all for having me on the show. Sorry if my energy was a little low. I'm not feeling too well right now. But, yeah, man, we go stay. This could be a water boy. We go stay and see what happens every week with this team. And we go start eventually focusing more on the off season once our season is officially over. Let's try to stay diligent, keep our eyes open, research free agents if we feel so, and I will be making some more content. Like I said, I just haven't been feeling good, but God bless everybody in the chat, and same with the fellows on here, man, with me, Duke G and Micro Mike, and shout out to the rest of DSA, and have a blessed night, everybody.
Luke G, go ahead.
First of all, hey, I'm glad to be back. I know we didn't do a show on Tuesday, had a family emergency, had to take care of that, and make sure that the family was squared away, and it is. Everybody is doing better. But, you guys, again, showing up in force, and I know that it's hard to listen to sports talk about a team who ain't doing nothing, but there's so much going on that it's still a lot to talk about with this team, and I'm glad that you guys showed up. And as always, I like to end shows on good notes. So today I woke up, and my son got up and he said to me, "Dad, you are a great dad." And I say, wow. And it was at that moment that I realized that it's not about all the things that you cannot control that matters. It's about the moment that you create for those who do matter. If you keep your energy into those who do matter, then everything else around you matters. That or you are walking in heaven in the flesh. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe to all the members of the DSA. Hit that like and subscribe and notification bell on Mr. Michael Mike's channel. And don't be no chump. Please do your research.
Everyone, thank you for showing up. It is awesome to talk Detroit Lions football. Even when we suck as a community, we embrace the suck together. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us talk. And sometimes when it comes to online bullying and stuff like that, when you're doing bad pictures and stuff like that, I can't have that on here for the TOS of YouTube. And, you just never know, maybe someone knows where you live. You don't want to talk crap. Maybe someone knows your phone number, your family members, your everything about you financially. You just never know. It could get leaked on YouTube. So with that said, folks, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the greatest words of all time. Adios.
Yes.